What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DX Gamer Show. My name is Mike, aka Operation DX, and I hope you guys had a great weekend. Welcome to episode 6 of Subnautica. During the previous episode, we got the analyzer bench built in our base, and we researched our very first technology, the Seamoth. And now we are on a hunt to collect resources in order to get the Seamoth built. However, before I build the Seamoth, I need to build a constructor. Conveniently, we are in an excellent location to collect some copper ore, and that is exactly what we are after, so we can make some batteries and some power cells and all that. I am intentionally right now ignoring the titanium. I probably shouldn't do that, but yeah, I'm kind of doing that for now. This place is situated right next to where our base is, so if we ever need to build a bunch of batteries, we can come back here. However, there is lime deposits pretty much littered throughout this entire biome. They're not all that difficult to spot, so we don't need to come back to this particular place to find it. It just is a nice location to pick up some of that copper ore. Anyway, all of our resource collection is going to be paying off during this particular episode because we're probably going to get a bunch of stuff built. Hopefully, I can keep things focused and keep moving along like I've been throughout the series. Pretty much have this battle plan, trying to execute it and just keep things nice and streamlined and moving along. Just taking a look at that constructor to see what I need to finish it off. I hadn't realized that I actually needed a titanium ingot. So yeah, we need a titanium ingot and a power cell, and it looks like I'm short of some acid. So I need to grab a few more mushrooms and go ahead and get those batteries going so I can build the power cell. Fortunately, I think we have everything we need in order to build both the constructor and the Seamoth. So do you guys kind of see what I'm saying about the crafting system? As I was talking about earlier in the series, how at first the crafting system seems to be a little like simple and simplified, but it is a little deeper than you realize. Like the components to build subcomponents and the research and all of that. I really like it. You know, I'm kind of tired of the whole grid thing and some other games that I'm playing. I really, like I said, like the Planet Explorers thing. That was kind of cool. Very similar, I guess, but not quite. How you just needed the particular resources in your inventory and then you can just build the thing kind of thing. I like that. I like that better. As I always say, I prefer a crafting game that doesn't force you to have to leave the game and search up some forum or wiki in order to craft something in the game. I think that is terrible game design. I mean, some may disagree and you may call it metagaming, but I don't know, like it really kind of breaks the flow of the game. It really breaks the immersion of the game to me, and that's why I like games like this where you really just hover over a tooltip, it tells you all the stuff, and then you know it's in the game and you just need to go out there and find it, that kind of thing. Yeah, I like that so much better. Anyways, as I was yammering on there, you notice that I built a secondary large storage container, which I like to have a lot of storage in this game. That way, I'm not always concerned about my inventory, but I'm finally getting around to just transferring all the inventory from my escape pod into, well, we can just call it our main base for right now. And yeah, just having everything in one location just makes everything a little easier. I'm not sure if I talked about this, but when you start a new game of Subnautica, you get 3 random items inside of your escape pod, inside of the storage. Yeah, so we got a piece of diamond. That's just something we can't use for like way down the line, so I don't know why we got that, but kind of interesting. And then we got this piping that you can kind of like pipe from the surface and like use it to breathe, kind of like as an intermediary, how we're going to use the Seamoth once we get that built, when we go really deep. And then, what was the last item? I don't even know what the third item was, but we got something else. We probably used it. It was probably just some basic resource. So, yeah. All right, so we're taking a look at the Seamoth here, seeing what we need. So, 3 titanium, not ingots, titanium. That's why I think it's kind of interesting you need a titanium ingot for the constructor, because it's like a smaller thing. But yeah, so we need a fuel cell, 2 pieces of glass, and some lubricant. all of which we have except for the battery acid, which we just picked up. And we should have everything we need to go ahead and assemble our sea moth there. So need to make some silicone. Oh, we've already got plenty of quartz in my inventory. I tend to do that back and forth with the inventory and the crafter. And this is exactly why I like to keep everything nice and tight and all in the same area, because if I need to go back and forth, it's just better not to have to go all the way up to the escape pod and keep stuff in there. All right, so let's just double check and see. We need 3 more titanium, 2 glass, and 1 lubricant. And we are once again starting to dwindle on our supply of quartz. You guys know what that means. Yeah, we're gonna have to go collect some more. Alright, so I think we have 1 glass in our inventory, so we need to build 1 more piece of glass, and we should have everything we need to go ahead and build our sea moth. So once again, let's double check. Yep, got it all. It's now time to head over to the constructor that we built earlier. We have to climb on board here. And again, this is where I really love the aesthetic of the game. It truly seems that you are a member of a highly advanced civilization with just some unique technologies at your disposal. Alright, so there we go. We have the sea moth. It is constructed. We're going to go ahead and hop on board this. Not really going to do any serious exploration with it just yet. We're going to go ahead and park it next to our base. And we're going to assemble 1 additional power cell. So if you notice in the center of the console, right above our hotbar, we have a power level and a damage level. So we got to pay attention to those. Those are important. And yes, need to head over to the aquarium here, pick up a couple of the pepperfish and cook them, because I'm about to get a warning from the AI telling me that I have a calorie nutrient deficiency. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get ahead of it a little bit there. Eat one before it warns me. And there we go. Now, before I go ahead and build a secondary backup power cell for the sea moth, which hopefully we won't need to replace, depending on how things go on our little adventure that we're going to take after this, I want to research a couple of technologies. So we have some fragments we picked up earlier. We'll get started on the workbench. We have the stasis rifle and I think the repulsion gun. I'm not sure exactly. So the workbench is pretty cool. It allows you to upgrade some of your gear, like your knife and your oxygen tank and your flippers, and you can do a couple of different variants of each. We will get that up and running when we can. Unfortunately, we don't right now have the resources to just go ahead and build it when the technology finishes. I believe it needs a computer chip, which requires silver ore, so we're going to have to get some more of that. And you kind of get the idea of how all this goes. Looks like we have a nice chunk of copper. We did a good job of collecting copper. We got some gold for the advanced wiring kits for some of the stuff we'll need later. Yeah, we're doing okay. Before we take off in our little adventure, I would like to get another piece of technology going. So I'm just going to spend a little time here kind of consolidating some resources. And there we go. We got 1 tech, and we'll go ahead and get the other one started in a second here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and convert my titanium into titanium ingots, or probably just 1. We just have enough for 1. And I know it kind of seems maybe a little wasteful, because we do need titanium for things, but we need a lot of titanium ingots as well. So it's good to start knocking this stuff out, really, because later on, if we don't have this done, we're just going to have to do a lot of resource hunting. Oh, so good. We actually had enough for 2 titanium ingots, which gives us a total of 3, which is nice, because we need 5 for the 1 vehicle, we need 4 for something else, we need another one for something else. Yeah, so it's good to get on top of that. And we actually had some extra in our inventory, which is good, because if we need to build anything, which we're not really going to, because we're going to go on an adventure, yeah. Alright, so stasis rifle, and okay, that other fragment was the propulsion rifle fragment. So let's go ahead and put these 2 in, get that going. And yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to build that. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the workbench. So I need 2 wiring kits, 1 computer chip, which requires silver ore. We don't have any of that. And just take a look at a couple of these other things here. Here's all the really cool base modules that you can build. You can put some glass panels in here so we can see on the outside. But I don't want to use up my quartz. You can build that really cool observatory, which requires some advanced glass and a couple other things. Yeah, it's all really, really cool. So I think probably for the end of the series, like I said, I'll build that pretty neat base. We'll probably have the majority of the stuff in the alpha done at that point. Anyways, let's go ahead and build our backup power cell, and we will be on our way for our little adventure here off into the Great Plains. The Great Plains is one of the deeper regions in this game, so you definitely need a vehicle to get there. I don't know if I talked about this before, but in the Great Plains, you can find the most advanced technologies. So we are after one in particular, and that is called a moon pool. This is a upgrade for your base, so not all of the base modules are available right away in the game, which is good. I think they should do more of this kind of stuff in the game. So why am I interested in the moon pool in particular? Well, it's a base module that allows you to not only park your Seamoth, but it recharges the power cell on the Seamoth, which I find to be kind of a critical thing. So you're not always having to hunt down the acid and the copper to constantly be building power cells for this thing, which is a good thing. Even though the Great Plains region is pretty vast, it sometimes can be hard to come across. And I kind of have this like set regiment of way to locate it. So essentially what I do is put myself really close to the back end of the Aurora's thruster, and then I just directly head away from it, or somewhat close. So here you can see that I'm kind of like getting out of my Seamoth and making sure I'm lined up somewhat decent. I'm at a pretty good angle to actually run into it. Another thing is I kind of want to, just for a second, stay near the surface to see if I can spot this like landmass. Now the landmass seems to be like part of the Great Plains because it has like the look of it, except for it like pokes way out on top, and you can actually get up on there and climb around on it, on the landmass, and walk around on the landmass. I think it's pretty neat. That's what I was saying earlier, how it'd be cool if they added this kind of thing to the game and put things on there to like add gameplay elements. Yeah, I don't know if it was like an accident in the development to kind of like put some weird seed in that like allowed it to randomly, you know, pop up or whatever, or if it was intentional, that kind of thing. Or maybe there is something secret on the island, I just don't realize it. It doesn't seem like I've gotten all that far away from the Aurora, but it certainly looks like we are just about in the right region, because the other regions don't quite go this deep right away. So we are getting really, really close to the Seamoth's maximum depth. And here we're just catching a glimpse. You can just barely see it on the screen there. This little blue ball up in the upper right quadrant, almost center quadrant. That is definitely part of the Great Plains region. So we're going to go ahead and hop out of the Seamoth and try to swim down and find some stuff here. Now, this is where we're going to find some interesting things. There's actually resources down here that I don't know what are used for, like mercury. They're probably just future plans for future things that you can build in the game, which is also pretty exciting because I'd love to see more indeed. Also, because this biome is so deep, the light really doesn't get down here, so it's nice that we have these luminescent type plants or whatever they are. Otherwise, we would have had to have crafted a flashlight to see what's going on. And even then, it is pretty dark. Unfortunately, I'm kind of in a deep spot here where I'm not going to be able to spend a ton of time searching down for some things. So I think what I'm going to do during the next episode is relocate and try to find a little more shallow of a spot. I think you can find the moon pool in the shallow spot. There are some higher end technologies. I think you have to go in the super deep regions of this area. However, I think there is another vehicle that we can use to actually get a little deeper, and it would also probably be helpful if I had one of those handheld devices to actually allow me to move around a little faster, but as you can see, I'm really kind of pushing it with the oxygen. Anyways, that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a great day and take care.